Where the hell are we? 20 seconds to vacuum and counting, Leanna reported. Just do it. Pull us out. Ryan swiped the information from his screen and tabbed up an open comm channel to the rest of the ship. All hands, lock it down. Emergency dropout in 15 seconds. Have I mentioned today how much I hate you, Ryan? Zahli closed her eyes and started counting down to the last possible second until she could hold her breath. Last time they'd performed an emergency drop out of void space, she'd spent half an hour after chucking up her breakfast. Only slightly better than the 2 hours she'd spent bringing up her dinner the time before that. She hooked her hands around the harness, crisscrossing her chest, her breath too short already. She fricking hated this emergency procedure more than just about anything in the universe. Trying to take her mind off it, she focused on the familiar hum of the Imojenna's engines on hyperdrive, the tinkling of Ryan's beads as he worked to keep the ship together, Leanna tapping a fingernail on her crystal display, and in the background, the clanking, grating noise that signaled something wasn't quite right with their old Nirali-class ship. 6 seconds to go. Is everyone locked down? Leanna's voice cut through all the other sounds, and Zahli tightened her hold on the straps until her knuckles ached. They'll have to be, Ryan answered. Take us out, Leanna. Zahli blew out a hard breath as hyperdrive engines were shut off cold. The Imojenna vibrated and shuddered at a sharp frequency, bucking and clanking like a vessel on an uncontrolled entry. Zahli felt the pulsation aching through every cell in her body as the inertial dampeners attempted to cope with the extreme decrease in speed. If the inertial dampeners failed, they'd all end up splattered into nothingness, their bodies torn apart by opposing forces. She'd heard of it happening on ships in better condition than theirs. Gritting her teeth, she waited for normality to kick back in, the pain making it feel like forever when only a second or two passed. At last, she managed to gasp in a breath, and everything settled back to where it should have been. The only evidence of their screaming plunge out of void space was the ringing in her ears, slight burning in her limbs, and the way her brain was spinning inside her skull. Then came the nausea, tearing up her insides like it always did, just when she'd started to think this time she might not get sick. She forced her eyes open, hoping if she could see they were floating gently through space, it might help calm her stomach. The ship tilted beneath her in the way it always did when entering a planet's gravitational pull. The viewport was entirely blocked by the green-gray atmosphere of a world they'd dropped out too close to. The Imojenna had been dragged into outer orbit. Swallowing down the burning sensation at the back of her throat, Zahli unclipped the safety harness with stiff fingers and forced herself to her feet. All she had to do was hold her breath and keep her stomach where it was meant to be until she got down to the medbay for the nausea meds they'd picked up last time they'd visited the Rim. Although, she had to admit, the sight of her fearless brother slumped over his display screen, forehead resting on his folded arms, perked her right up. Ryan, you might want to do something about the planet we're about to crash into. He groaned and shook his head. You guys are so soft. With an impertinent grin, Leanna brought up data on the nearby planet, displaying it across the main viewport, blocking out the swirling greenish environment. Zahli raised an eyebrow and scoffed. Emergency dropouts might not make you sick, but I seem to remember someone blubbering like a baby when they walked through a spider web last time we visited Oberon. Spiders can kill you, and that wasn't a web, it was a frecking net. Zahli forced her unsteady legs to cooperate, and then shook Ryan's shoulder.